Now, let's take a look at the inside of a computer, what it is made up of, and what are the components that is require you to boot up, or so that you will see something on the screen. Right now, I do not have any connection, so of course I didn't connect anything to my VGA port, so that's why you don't see anything on the screen. So first thing you need to check is that whether you have the connection established between the graphic card or graphic port and the monitor cable. Okay, that's the first thing that you need to check. If that is not connected, obviously you will not see anything on the screen. Okay. Second thing you need to check is whether you have a power on your PC. That's the most common mistake that most students will encounter when they try to on the PC. Of course, if you don't have any power on, the computer will not boot up. Okay. So how do we open this computer? Very simple. It's not locked. So I'm just going to take out any key, any house key that is long enough for it to go in, and just slide it out, just like that. Okay. And then you just take it out. Be careful because the edges are quite sharp. Okay, that's why I want you to wear covered shoes in the lab, so that you won't accidentally drop it and hurt your legs or toes or something like that. Right. So after that, I'm gonna put it aside here, and let's turn it around to see what is inside of this PC. Okay, there are many components here, but one thing to note is that the power supply is here. Okay, which supplies power to the motherboard. It has a separate motherboard connection to the motherboard which supplies power, and you can also see that there are a couple of things from the front. You should see that it has a CD drive, okay, a zip drive, and a floppy drive. Obviously, you cannot see another component called hard disk, which is because it is installed inside of the casing itself. This is the hard disk. Okay. So now you have other components like the CPU, okay, which is used for the processing, and the memory, it is for storing temporary data. Okay, whatever it is stored in the memory, it will be lost when the computer reboots. That's the same thing goes for the CPU. The only thing that will stay permanently is on the hard disk, which is a secondary storage. Right? Now, if you turn it on right now, if you turn on the computer right now, it will not turn on, obviously because it has no power at all. Okay? So in order to do that, let's turn on the computer by first connecting the monitor port to the monitor key here. So once you plugged in, you should see that there's some activity going on here. Okay, it will try to detect whether there's any video signal. Obviously, right now you don't have any video signal because the power is not turned on. So you will need a power cable that connects to the back of your power, just like that. So if you turn around, okay, I don't want it to turn on yet. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay, remember, you should not touch anything inside of a computer while it is power on. It is very dangerous. Okay, you could get electrocuted if you're not very careful. So this is the computer. That's the connection. And what are the things that we require to boot up a computer? Well, we'll find out later. But right now you need to connect your keyboard and mouse, otherwise you cannot control. So make sure that they goes into the correct port as well. Mouse and then keyboard. Just like that. Very easy. So we're good to go. So the way it is to turn on from the top, just like that. Then the computer will perform something called power on self-test. And you should see it on the screen. Now, the computer is processing something called power on self-test. Okay? Power on self-test will try to detect major components, or I call it critical hardware. Okay? They are CPU, memory, and graphic card. If these three things are missing, the computer will refuse to boot. So let's try to take out one of the components that is required for power on self-test and see if it is working. So we'll just turn off the PC. Okay, unplug it. Unplug all the components. Now, this computer uses an onboard built-in graphic called S330-3D. This one is an onboard graphics, so there's no way for you to take it out. The only possible way is that if you have a graphic card, just like this, okay, my graphic card, then you can install it like that. If you install it like that, you have to take it out, okay, to test. Right now, we have 2 graphic cards. I don't want that, and the only component that we are able to remove is the RAMs. Okay, I will show you a separate video on how you can remove the RAMs. Okay, so right now you just remove the RAMs. See if the computer can boot. So I have taken out my RAM. I have no RAM right now, if you can see. No RAM in the RAM slots. Okay. I'll be very careful. Okay, when I turn the computer around, connect my power. I'll turn it off first. Okay. Connect my mouse and my keyboard. Now, when I power it on, you will notice that instead of seeing something on the screen, it will actually make noise, and it will refuse to boot up. The reason is because it's complaining that there is no RAM. Okay, so that's why it cannot boot. So that's one of the critical hardware. Another critical hardware is the CPU. Let's take a look at the CPU, how we can take it off. I'll turn it off. Notice that nothing is on the screen as of this moment.